How you doing everyone? Welcome to this video, and today we're going to look at the new camera from Blackmagic Design, the PYXIS 12K. And damn, what a beautiful camera. This camera is everything that you'd want when it comes to design. The design is futuristic, it looks very modern, very robust with the full aluminium body, and yeah, the overall design cannot be faulted, absolutely lovely. When you hold it, you just feel like you're holding a solid piece of machinery. And the fact that we can record up to 16 stops of dynamic range with this camera is absolutely fantastic. The monitor itself as well, I love the design. So what we did for our first test was we took the camera to my friend's farm. It was a midday sun, blasting, I didn't really take any care in terms of setting up any lighting or diffusion or anything like that. Just went and basically pointed the camera and pressed record. So don't expect anything cinematic or crazy here. This is our first test and I wanted to see how it would do in that kind of scenario. Once we've looked at the footage, then we're going to talk about the build, because I have a cage from Excelsius and I've got some small rig parts as well, which I want to build out. Even though the camera's not small, but I want to build out a more minimal rig, a more clean, tidy rig. So let's get into the footage now.
Hello guys, my name is Fode and I just want to take you for a small tour around my farm so you can see what work I've been doing the last few years. So I started this farm almost 3 years ago now. I got tired of living in the city and, being held down and not knowing where I stood with landlords and the police noise and the sirens and just people just doing certain substances where it's just not for my eyes, and I couldn't be the creative I wanted to be. And moving away from London and setting up this farm here has given me a new incentive and a new direction, reconnecting with nature, the animals, learning things from them and them just learning things from me in general. I could have gone down the route by getting a mortgage, but what's life in the city and being held down to a system where I'll have to pay for the rest of my life for something that could predominantly never be mine. Thank you for joining me in my farm, guys, and I hope I'll see you guys here soon in the next year so you can see all the work that we've been doing.
Okay, so that was the footage of my friend Fode and his new farm, and he's going to be taking and rescue animals as well, and he's doing an absolutely wonderful job. And I think some of the footage came out fantastic. The clarity in some of these images was just lovely. I haven't graded BRAW in years, I've forgotten all about BRAW, and I haven't used the Blackmagic myself personally for a long time, so I was really surprised at how nice the footage came out. Now there were some things that I didn't really like, sometimes I saw in the pigs that the blacks turned a bit blue, like there's that blue like splotches, but other than that, the footage is really, really nice. I can't fault it. No camera's perfect at the end of the day. So now we're going to change up the build now for something a bit leaner and a bit cleaner. With the Excelsius cage, you get many parts on here, and I'm not going to list them all, but I'm going to show you how I build this cage out. Now, I know this is going to be a lot of talking in this video, but I'm very practical when it comes to building a rig. I don't like to go over the top. I do like a nice functional rig, and the Excelsius cage does give me what I need. I love the amount of mounting holes on this cage. Some people might think it's a bit overkill, but I'm always thinking if I could move this rod, just up a little bit or down a little bit, I could fit something else in and it could be perfect. So the fact that this has every single hole all over the body with built-in NATO rails and lock-in pins and everything else is just absolutely fantastic. So let's get into the build without further ado. So the camera slides straight into the cage. Will calls this a full metal jacket, and it literally is a full metal jacket. If you was to drop this now, no part of your camera is going to get hit. Wonderful. We then put in 2 screws at the top and 3 screws at the bottom. And then your cage is secure. Next we'll put on the back plate, which is just 4 screws. And the back plate there already installed. And then we have another smaller back plate, and this one covers over the BP battery. This allows you to put third-party mounting plates such as a V-mount plate. And I'm going to do that with this old small rig V-mount plate that I had laying around. Now I've got this on, I can put on my small rig X99 battery. It's a bit tight, so I might need to get a slightly bigger mount, but this is what I'm going to use for now. On top, we've now got a small rig NATO rail and a small rig rotating top handle. Now this top handle was actually too far forward, so because we have a lot of mounting points on the cage, I can actually move it a bit further back, and now it's perfectly balanced here. With the Excelsius cage, you can also get two types of rods, long and short, and these can be used for mounting V-mount batteries on a rod system, for follow focus, or for all types of things that you want to mount onto your camera. But the good thing is they require no additional mounts. They can screw directly into the cage, which is fantastic. I'm using one here on the small rig handle, and this is what I'm going to use to mount the monitor. I love this cage for the riggability, absolutely fantastic, and one of the best cages. I wish he would make one for the FX3. I would buy it in a heartbeat. We're then going to put on a lens support mount. I don't really need it for this 5POC, but I'm going to put it on for the sake of this video. We also have ARRI rosette on the side, but there's also mounting points and NATO rails, so you can mount literally any handle that you want. I've put a small rig handle on here. Now this one is made for hawk lock, but it does actually work on this cage. I'm now putting in the cables from Excelsius, and these are lock-in as well. So both USBs, we've got a long and a short, and they can be used for your monitor or for your SSD. Inside the pack also came this little tiny baby screwdriver, which allows me to tighten up the screws for the lock-in. So that's the minimal rig for me, and I've even got the tilter BPU adapter on the back, so it's compatible with the Excelsius cage. One thing about the monitor is it hasn't got the standard locating pin, so if you've got a monitor mount that you like to use which has locating pins, you can't actually use it with this monitor. So Will has also made an adapter that screws onto the bottom of your monitor. Once you fix this on, you're then free to use any type of mount adapter you want. So I'm going to screw this on now so you can see what it looks like. And there you can see my monitor mount there. Such a well thought out design. There's also some 15mm rod adapters should you want to offset your rods for any reason. And one of the amazing things, he's got these covers, a clear one and a dark blacked out one that cover your screen. So these are very strong. They just slide in, you put the two screws in to lock them down, and they will protect your screen if you're doing some rough work. The clear one will allow you to monitor your screen. Obviously you can't touch, but it allows your screen to be protected at all times. And then comes the sun hood as well. Slides in the same way, locks in by two screws, and then you've got a sun hood for those really sunny days. Fantastic. All the buttons are easily pressable, so there's no problem there. You can reach them all. Talking about the small rig parts, I've got the wooden handle you can see and the follow focus, but this top handle is amazing because I can just rotate it and now I can shoot reels with no problem at all. Absolutely fantastic. And you know small rig is the one when it comes to these kind of gear. It's so functional, but they have a good price to function ratio. And I can just switch it back and then I'm back in normal handheld mode. So that's a massive thanks to Excelsius for sending this cage. I'll leave a link down below to it. And thank you Small Rig for sending these parts as well, and I'll link those too. Okay, so I guess the question is, would I use the Blackmagic as my main camera over my Sony FX3 and FX30? And the answer is no. The reason why, it's not anything to say the camera's bad or it's, you know, it's a terrible camera. 12K is great, and the fact that it does up to 4K with no crop is absolutely amazing, but right now as an A camera, I just don't need all that. I'm looking forward to shooting with it now in the future, doing some more projects with it and seeing how we get on with it. But the Sonys, because of the kind of work I do, it just makes things so much faster. What would take me, you know, 3 hours with a Blackmagic or any camera, a cinema camera that's manual focus only with that kind of size, I can knock out in 30 minutes with the FX3 and the FX30. So just because it's not right for me as my main camera, for cinematographers who do all the lighting, setting up and, you know, creating those beautiful scenes, I think that this camera is going to be magic for you. And the more you invest yourself in RAW, again, I think that you're going to get some fantastic images from this camera. So I would say it's definitely a thumbs up. Even though I'm not a Blackmagic, you know, guy, I would definitely say it's a thumbs up camera and the price is good. So that was my review. I know it wasn't technical. I don't think we need to get technical because there's a lot of people that have gone over the specs and stuff like that. I just wanted to give my thoughts on the camera itself as a person who doesn't really use Blackmagic, and yeah, that was it really. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found this review quite balanced on my thoughts. A person that has no interest or financial interest or anything to do with Blackmagic, and just to get a balanced review. But yeah, take care, and I will see you on the next one. Later.